Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that's the Highlander of the field. There can only be one. Robbie Koblenz in studio. Guys of a Certain Age.
Art Shirley.
And Jay Reed.
Along with, we're doing the Yoda version of it. Jay's expression, Highlander. Have you seen Highlander, the movies? Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery?
I saw the first movie, but
There can only be one.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Really? What about you?
And I didn't watch the show.
I didn't watch the show.
Didn't watch the show. So my Geek of the Week may be about Highlander. Who knows?
Okay.
But we'll get into that in a second. But there can only be one. First one was great.
First one was great. You don't really need to see any of the other ones.
No. Okay.
Because really, there should only be one.
Well, the TV series, is it connected?
Yeah.
That
guy, I always thought the guy, I can't remember the name of the actor that played, he really looked like a young Sean Connery to me. I thought he would have been a good Bond choice if they wanted to go by looks alone. He was a decent actor. Yeah. But I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either. That was kind of Christopher Lambert's high mark.
Well, that and Tarzan, I guess.
Oh, I forgot Tarzan.
Ray Stoke.
Speaking of our friend Tracy Griffin, who we had a great time with a couple weeks back. So, Well, let's jump into geeks, and since we're kind of talking about my geek, we'll jump into Highlander news. So, Henry Cavill, Kawazzle, whatever.
Henry Cavill.
Are you talking about Superman?
Yeah. The former Superman, the Henry formerly known as
Henry
Superman.
Cavill.
There we go. He is going to star in the upcoming Highlander reboot.
Oh, I didn't know they were rebooting.
They're rebooting it, and this is a quote. I'm going to have to easy for me to say. So, according
to Will Smith,
he didn't give us a chance to help him out there. Yeah.
So, according to Mr. Henry, the upcoming Highlander reboot will go even deeper into the series lore than the original. So, if you remember, like we were just talking about, you had the original Highlander that was kind of produced as a standalone. I think it was 85 is when it came out,
probably somewhere
in there, and it. Do you remember it at all, Jay?
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble because you have a piece of hair sticking up at the back like alfalfa. Cannot keep a straight face. Okay.
Is that better?
No, okay.
I'm going to go over and take Jay's hat off of him.
Much better.
Is it much better?
Maybe you should wear a hat. That will help. Anyway.
Yeah. So, well, we're trying to get you to pass out.
So is there Highlander lore? We'll go back to Highlander.
Ask Spanky Reed.
Sadly,
Alfalfa Spanky. Who's that make you?
Well, who was Beretta's character? Maybe I'm Froggy.
Oh, you're Froggy. Oh, the little rascals. Okay. Except in our case, it's the big rascals. Mm-hmm. So the original movie, basically you had all these Eternals who were fighting for the quickening, which was the opportunity to get eternal life, but you had to kill everybody else. And so you had a clash between the Highlander, which was Christopher Lambert, and the Kurgan, who is played by...
Oh, that's what I'm trying to... I was just trying to remember his name. That's the voice actor. We've talked about him many times.
So anyway, they...
Are you looking it up?
I'm going to see if I can find it. I can't find it because I can't spell it. Anyway, so... The Kurgan, which was a kind of barbarian type character, he and the Highlander had a duel there towards the end, and Christopher Lambert won, and he embraced the quickening, and so then he could read everybody's thoughts in the world, and he got the girl, and the last scene is he's driving on this scenic beach, I think in Scotland, with the girl, and he's saying it's just all glorious, and it was pretty cool.
Clancy Brown, by the way.
Clancy Brown.
Voice of Lex Luthor, and also in Earth 2.
And also Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
He was Sergeant Zim in Starship Troopers. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it was a great sci-fi movie. Sean Connery was in it as the Spanish Peacock. I can't remember his name. But
kind of the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the Obi-Wan connection.
I remember him, yeah.
So, but they did a second and a third Highlander that rewrote, or as we would say today, retconned, everything.
Yeah,
and
I
they were
don't
pretty
remember
horrible.
even seeing those. I'm bound to watch the second one.
Well, they brought Sean Connery back because at that point Sean Connery needed money, and so Lambert just like yells the character's name and he just shows up.
No,
Yeah, just like that. So it's kind of like we do with Jay
Beetlejuice.
sometimes. We just yell Jay's name and there he pops in.
Jay. There he
Yeah.
is.
Or do you say Jay backwards? Waja, waja, waja,
I'm gonna go Yaj.
waja, yaja,
Yaj.
yaj. Anyway, so
The likelihood of making it to
He doesn't know how to spell my
300.
name.
so
Yaj.
Yaj, that's it. So anyway, great premise, great first movie. They did Highlander 2, Highlander 3. Then they did a series to capitalize on and kind of retcon there. Christopher Lambert actually guest starred in a couple episodes of the
Really?
Highlander, the series.
Okay.
Huh.
And then nothing. Crickets.
Nothing.
Crickets.
Uh-huh.
And then, Henry Cavill. Did get it
Cavill
right.
is all over the place right now. He's in Argyle and
Which bombed.
Yeah, which is bombing. Unfortunately.
really I haven't. I'll wait for that one. But
Well, that's why it bombed. Right there.
everybody's bombing.
Yeah.
Everybody's waiting.
Yeah.
Because Jay Reed is waiting.
Jay Reeves, you are a trendsetter.
People
right.
follow me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So anyway, that's going to be a reboot, and I think maybe Netflix has picked it up. I can't remember, but anyway, that seems to be a really good property for the actor formerly known as Superman.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I just want to know: is he going to bring any of his Warhammer?
Isn't
Figures
he also
on set?
working on a Warhammer
I think he
series
is.
or movies? Or
He's a
something?
gigantic Warhammer
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
He's probably the nerdiest comic book guy to play a superhero ever.
Yeah.
So, him and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's my geek of the week, and that was a fairly intense geek because there can only be one. So, who wants to go next?
I'll go next. New items available, collector's items available. Robbie, you may be very interested in this.
It's the collector segment.
because it has to do with Dune 2, and it's the Dune 2 wormhole popcorn bucket.
Has that not been Snopes that was a fake?
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
I think that's a fake. I think somebody put that up just to be
Well, I mean,
funny.
I saw a video of like all the major stars from Dune 2 talking about it with it in front of them, and I saw another video with
it could be wrong.
2 or 3.
Was it AI?
It might have been.
Deep fake.
I think it's real.
It's pretty.
I mean, I've read several different articles from several different places where they actually went and got one and did it, put their hand in it and got popcorn out of it.
You could buy one right now on eBay for $50.
Okay, and which is double the price of the one you could get if you go to an AMC theater and buy the $26.
When does that movie come out?
March 2nd or March something, early March,
Okay.
I believe. But it was funny to watch this video because it's like Josh Brolin and Timothy Chalamet and everybody, Zendaya, all talking about how creepy it felt to put their hand in the, because it's got like, I don't know how different it is from the same kind of thing that was in where Jabba the Hutt was about to throw people in it, in Star Wars. Same idea where it's like an animal and then their mouth is the hole. So, but this one has the little silicone tendrils or whatever. Because you
And you
put your
reach
hand in
into
there,
that, past that,
and
Yeah.
you know what they were talking about is like if you try to grab a handful of popcorn and pull it back out, and you got all those tendrils. It's just hard to pull. It's very odd. I don't think anybody really loves it, but
The topper is detachable, so you can just have a big black
yeah,
tub.
you could have a big
okay, gotcha.
black tin of popcorn, but what's the fun in that? So I probably won't have one. I'm just not that big of a Dune fan.
I'm
but,
sure the folks that are working at the theaters love it. There'll be even more popcorn on the floor now.
Right.
Normally.
Neither one of you have any interest in seeing Dune 2 in the theater, do you?
I do not.
I probably would go.
My oldest son would like to go. He's really enthused.
Cool.
But
I just like going to the theater to see movies, and I think Dune is a big enough. Even though I don't know that much about it, I did enjoy the first one quite a bit, and it just seems like a big enough movie that
Be fun to see on the big theater.
To see, yeah.
Okay.
For he is the Quizak cataract.
Why go to the theater when you've got it right here?
Right.
We have our own sound design here at Guys of Certain Age between me and Jay, and me and Art, and Jay's random singing from time to time.
Right.
So,
So anyway, that's it.
Well, David and I are going to go. You'll have to go with us.
I want to fringe on father-son type.
Oh, no.
Father, you could maybe Mark would go and it'd be father son. Father, son. Yeah.
Mark doesn't know about Dune, much less spell it. I mean, he can't spell it, much less enjoy the movie. So, which the David Lynch movie is being trotted out for a theatrical run now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's going to be it's Phantom Events is doing it, so they're putting it in select theaters, which that might be fun to watch too. Did you ever see the David Lynch version where at the end Alicia Witt says,
For he is a Quizak cataract.
that was Alicia Witt who played the role as Avalia in that
Yeah, I
version.
saw there's a picture floating around that shows her then and now.
Yeah, and she's been in a lot of things, but I don't know where I recognize her from.
Yeah, know the name, know the face, and
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't know what I've seen her in.
Yeah. You saw her in Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Art, what you got?
As a grown person. Did y'all talk about Carl Weathers already?
No, because it's a celebrity obit. And
Well, I couldn't remember if y'all. Anyway, Carl Weathers passed away sadly earlier this week as we record, and of course, probably easily best known as Apollo Creed from the Rocky movies, but also in sci-fi genre, he was in Predators, the original movie in Predators, and of course in The Mandalorian. And just seemed, from all accounts, he seemed like he was a great guy, really good actor. Always enjoyed anything he was in. Action Jackson, I don't know if y'all saw
Action Jackson. Yeah.
But anyway, that was sad. I sad to hear he passed away. And also, I mean, Toby Keith has passed away, which is not really a genre-related thing, but that was some sad news as well. So they take care of the celebrity obits.
Been a rough
for me.
week.
Yeah.
It's our own version of Entertainment Tonight. It's Mortuary Tonight.
That's right. I feel like Mo Rocca, on obituaries on CBS Sunday morning. But anyway.
Mo Rock. I haven't thought about Mo Rock in years.
Yeah.
Did you see where Jon Stewart is coming back to The Daily Show?
Yeah, once a week, I think it is.
On Monday. So
Yeah.
they've been hostless since
Trevor Noah left.
Trevor Noah left over a year ago.
Yeah,
And so
because they've had
he
celebrity fill-ins would
Yeah.
come in, and I don't know if they're still even doing that, but yeah.
But Jon Stewart's going to be Monday nights,
Yeah.
and he's going to be an executive producer on the show. as
Through
well.
the election, I think. Is his show on HBO going away? Is he still going to be doing that? Max, I guess, is now. But
I didn't watch any of it.
the trouble with Jon Stewart was that Apple? Maybe that was Apple instead of Max.
I don't remember. I know
It was Apple.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
Apple. Yeah, they had creative differences. And
Okay, so yeah.
they went their separate
Yeah.
ways. So, but
like you do.
yeah, Carl Weathers. Did you either of you guys see Sylvester Stallone's tribute
Yes,
to
I
him?
thought that was so good.
Oh man, it was great. Just heart wrenching. So, yeah. But he's got his role in Mandalorian was great.
Yeah, and all the actors that I've seen that have worked with him in Mandalorian or anything, just saying what a great guy he was. Just a really, really good guy.
He signed every one of his tweets. We're the twits here.
Tweet.
Yeah, he signed every one of his tweets. Be peace.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was. So I followed him on X, formerly known as Twitter.
That's so confusing.
It
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
just,
you notice everybody's still saying in an article saying X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
So
Or they'll say, Twitter, I refuse to call it X.
that's right, and it marks the spot. So.
Doesn't make sense.
Speaking of the spot, you got a regrettable hero
I have
this
a
week?
regrettable superhero. And
Regrettable superhero.
No, that Jay's regrettable superhero.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jay's
sorry.
regrettable
What-
segment.
Do you actually have it?
No, I'm cueing you.
And now it's time for Jay's Regrettable Superheroes.
All righty.
Brought to you by Depends.
I wish.
The ultimate regrettable.
That's right.
Now people are going to know why we take a break.
Oh, they already know.
The League of Regrettable Superheroes by John Morris. This week,
The League of Regrettable.
after last week, Art, I think you were out last week.
I was.
And we talked about The Bouncer, which we gave two guys or 2 thumbs up or whatever. Non-regrettable.
Non-regrettable. Okay.
This one, I think, may go the other way, but I'll let
Okay.
you decide. This guy's name is Dr. Hormone. So just imagine how things could go off the rails.
Kick her out of the bed.
Off the rails. So the factual details. Creator Robert Bug.
He just went right past it.
Yeah. 1940 Popular Comics number 54. This one was, I believe, serialized rather than just kind of a one-off thing. But as you might expect, it was a doctor, and his name was Hormone. And he also was very interested in the study of hormones. So he was an aged doctor on his deathbed, basically, and took a shot of youth hormone and went under his...
The old youth hormone.
Youth hormone and the angstrom... the way the guy worded it, it took a spin under the angstrom ray machine. And between the two, he became young again, like about 25. So his whole thing was using hormones to create like super soldiers, or to do like was done for him to make older people young. And so the guy commented on how odd it was to see a caption that was championed, watch Dr. Hormone as he experiments on this infant, to whatever. Yeah. So, ethics, who knows? But he was sent to Novoslavia to fight Eurasia, who, this was just kind of funny, the leader of Eurasia was a guy named Rasanov. And something turned him into a donkey man. So you can guess what they started calling him after. He was not Rasanov anymore. Removed the R. I can't say it in front of my mother. But anyway.
Who is in the studio?
It was not. who was our primary listener?
No, Mervin.
Mervin and Mama.
That's a show.
That's a show.
And Michael and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you say so.
Yeah.
So then he comes back to. They persuade him to come back to Texas, and they're fighting the Nazians.
The Nazians.
Yeah, not the Nazis,
clever.
but the Nazians.
Don't make anybody mad. Disguise the name. No one will guess.
Right. And his sidekick was his granddaughter, Janie Hormone.
Oh God.
Who, I don't know how old she was, but it just gets worse and worse. So at the end, it ends with they go to Texas, and this is kind of suspicious or sketchy, but the Nazians were dressed in such a way that they were dubbed the Klan, so you can imagine what they look like.
Okay.
So this unseen presence called the Thinker jumps in to help out with the hormone therapy and the angstrom rays, I guess. Gives him strength and blows the plane out of the air with super breath. Just that's his new power. Anyway, it gets the end of this is the Thinker brings him back to his home. There's a great Roman temple,
it's
a hellish
regrettable.
world of primordial chaos, and then they disappear.
I think we knew it was regrettable at the name.
You regretted me at the name.
Yeah, I think we can
right,
agree that Dr. Hormone is not to come back.
Yeah, he's
Perhaps a bit politically incorrect at every level.
At every level.
Yeah, well, I would think stupid was the word I was looking for.
Well, that's also a good
at almost
adjective.
every level.
Good adjective. Okay, so this one definitely regrettable.
Are you keeping a running tally of?
He is.
Okay, good.
Well, I'm
Of
writing
course
it
he
down.
is.
We'll come up with a. So far, I think we're about 2 for 2.
Okay, yeah. Sounds
No,
like
we're 2 and 2. We're not 2 for 2 because
that
we've
would
had
be 2 for
4.
2. Yeah,
So if
2
it was
and
2 for 2, we
You're
would
correct.
be 100%.
You're right.
Yeah,
We're 2 for 4.
which would be
50%.
50% or half.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
You're correct.
We should take all your notebooks because I know you have them all from guys of a certain age. Take all the notes, scan it, and sell it as merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it printed.
The problem is nobody could read it.
That might be regrettable itself.
Yeah. So,
Or
all
it
right.
might be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in next week for another episode of Jay's Regrettable Superheroes.
Well, that's great. All right, let's kick to break. We're going
Like
to
Gary
talk.
Owen.
You did kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary Owen. Thank you, Gary Art. So, up next, we're going to talk For All Mankind.
Yes.
And we're back, regrettable or not. We're going to talk For All Mankind, which just finished up season 4, right?
Season 4, right.
On Apple TV Plus. And Jay, you've watched, right? You've gone
have
on.
watched,
So
yes.
finally, we have drug you into the For All Mankind fandom.
Right.
I'm assuming.
I mean, sure. Yeah. Are you assuming?
We did an episode on the first 3 seasons that we're just catching up now.
So we're doing a wrap up of 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
This is our planning meeting. Welcome to our planning meeting.
that's right. Where we record everything. So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. And I just want to encourage all 3 of you people listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best TV shows. Well, it's not television. One of the best shows streaming today.
Yeah.
Each season is just fabulous, and it gets better and better and better. I cannot recommend it enough. All right.
Oh, Jay.
Outs.
I enjoyed the 4th season, but I don't think it was better.
Oh, really? Well, let me tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
Well,
Proceed.
I don't know why you're wrong. Jay, you aren't.
I did like the 4th season. I thought it was. I think it continues to gel. I mean, to me, it was not certainly. I don't know which season I would consider to be better. Which season do you like better?
Probably the first.
Really?
Yeah. The first to me just had all the action of, oh, wow, this is really what would have happened had things gone differently, the whole alternative timeline or whatever. So to me, that's the standard. But that's, with a lot of streaming series. I mean, a lot of TV shows is the same way. But I there was just several things about season 4 that I didn't like as much. So we can get into that.
Like what?
Well, I thought they aged people pretty well, but they turned Ed Baldwin into a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
And
did that strike a little too close to home?
Maybe,
base?
maybe. Yeah. But it was just like, hey, you kids, get out of my planet.
But how old is he supposed to be?
I'm not sure. But
I mean, you figure he's 30 something in 69. So.
And what year is the 4th
This
season?
is 2023.
Was it?
No, it was in 23.
I thought it was like 215.
Oh, it's like 215.
Yeah.
We're not getting confused with Monarch, are we?
Well, 2015 is Monarch, but it's the 20-teens is what it is.
Okay, I was thinking it was later than
so, at that point, he would be 70 years old because if he was 30 and 69.
I remember thinking he was 70-something years old.
Yeah, and that's and so that's what I was saying. They did age him well, but I guess it was so much of a jump from the last season and how his hair and he kind of humped over and he's just angry.
Yeah,
and I mean that's the kind of thing that I didn't enjoy his character as much this time. Same with Danny. I don't know. She was just too much.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know. It's like she had a chip on her shoulder or something.
And I think she does. I mean, like I said, I felt both of those characters worked pretty well. I liked the curmudgeonly.
That's a good word, curmudgeonly. Yeah. But I did like. I think my favorite thread was the Margot because they aged her as well.
Yeah,
and she's in Russia, and it's just kind of fascinating to watch how she navigates through all that, and then comes back and deals with all of her baggage. But they're
called consequences.
Consequences, yeah.
Yeah.
But her and Sergei's story, with is it Elida? I don't know how you pronounce it, but
don't ask me.
I was going to say
I'm looking at Robbie.
You're
for
coming
some
up with a
help
whole
here.
lot more number of names than we are. So,
but that was probably my favorite. I really enjoyed that thread of the story. But I don't know in Dev. I mean, Dev is.
You mean Elon Musk?
Yeah,
right.
No kidding.
A combination of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we liked it enough that we, the cliffhangers were like, we want to.
Yeah.
Until bedtime approached, we had to, we watched as much as we could at a time. So it was good in that regard. I just a couple of the characters I just didn't appreciate as much this time.
Well,
and see, I thought they did a good job of kind of changing the whole story and dynamic with the heist kind of stuff, the whole Ocean's 11, which I know, granted, was a little far-fetched or whatever, but I liked what they did with that. To me, there are some seasons in the past that got a little too soap opera-ish. There were relationships and things that you go, this doesn't really ring true. I don't think this would happen. Whereas I felt like this kind of stuff felt a little, even though it was, like I said, got a little out of hand and far-fetched or whatever. I thought it was neat. And I
stuck to the space story kind of a thing.
Yeah, I felt like it was more about the space story, even when it was, taking place, the stuff that was taking place in Moscow, I thought was good. That whole thing was, there were some really powerful moments in that story, the Margot story, and all her, related people that were in there. But I thought that was interesting.
And then going back to what I was saying about the alternate timeline, it was kind of fat. It's all. I mean, the whole season, the whole series has had this, but watching Al Gore be president, and I don't know if some of that was deep fake and some of it was just clips put together, but it was a fascinating thing to watch that.
And I really liked Daniel. What's his name? The guy that played the actor who was in Home Alone.
Oh, Daniel Stern.
Stern.
Daniel Stern. Yeah,
I had mixed feelings about him, but
see, I really liked his character because he was a Lee Iacocca kind of character, somebody who had done some stuff, and then.
But Lee Iacocca was his second in command at Chrysler.
Right. Yeah. So he's they're taking from that, but they're putting him in a superior position.
So he was a real person too?
No. He was
No, in the mythology of the show, they in one of the recaps at the beginning of I think season 4, they show Lee Iacocca had he did an international bestseller biography about his turnaround with Chrysler,
right?
And I forgot what it was called. Well, they put Daniel Stern's character on it with Lee Iacocca, and he makes a reference to Iacocca was my number 2. I'm looking for a good number 2 here at NASA, yada yada yada. So,
but the whole political thing of that, and how you've got to make this happen because the election's coming up, I thought that added some realness to it. I thought that was good.
I agree with that. I just had trouble seeing Daniel Stern without the Home Alone.
But that's what I thought was good because he was a completely different character, and he's a great actor.
And I didn't realize until you said that was Daniel Stern.
Really?
To be honest
because he looked so different.
Yeah, he looked so different. And he played like a politician.
Yeah, and in the end, when everything was in, all this stuff was going in motion, at that point, I did like him. Yeah. It's just in the beginning, it was just kind of glad-handed, and, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think the story of Danny is just fascinating because in a lot of ways, For All Mankind is Ed and Danny, their relationship and achievements and what they've had to overcome to get to Mars. Because if you go back to season 1 with the female Mercury equivalent,
the Mercury 13,
it the Mercury 13?
That was the real life. Group, and so they were based on that Mercury 13.
Yeah, and so she comes in as an African American woman. She has multiple strikes against her because of that, and she ends up being the savior sent to get the Mars base under control. I just thought that was fascinating, and how she became a polarizing figure, but at the end of she was the unifying figure to shut down what was happening in Mars, because you had a Union versus
Norma Ray.
You really did. Yeah. So that was fascinating. For me, Ed's character, he was a curmudgeon. He'd lost his wife. He'd lost his son. His daughter and grandson. I mean, he lost what would have been his grandson's father.
Right.
On Mars base. He had to send his daughter back under dire medical conditions. And so he's just lost everybody except for Mars.
Yeah.
How did the son die? I've forgotten.
So the son died while Ed was on the moon.
Was it a car wreck?
It was a car. I mean, he was on a bicycle and got hit by a car.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ed could not get back for the funeral.
Yeah.
And so they did a memorial to him, burial on the moon.
I also like seeing the class difference on the Mars, where you had the workers who couldn't get messages through, and you'd see the dichotomy of the people that are upstairs and having all this stuff, watching ball games live and things. So that I thought was good.
And the black market deal.
Yeah, that was,
because that would be going on.
Oh yeah.
Who's I forget the name of the character who ended up running the black market.
The guy from Baton Rouge.
Ilya?
No, the guy.
The one that ended up with it.
Who was Dr. Doom in the second Fantastic Four movie.
Was he really?
Yeah, in the reboot, the Michael B. Jordan reboot.
Oh, wow. I did not remember
He was Doom, yeah. Because I rewatched that not long ago.
Okay.
It's like, and I can't remember his name. Yeah. So, I love the Dev character.
Miles?
Yeah. No, not Miles Teller.
Miles Dale. It was he's the character name.
Yeah.
Toby Cabell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Dev's character, how he lost his company, very Steve Jobs-ish.
Oh yeah, that whole takeover though, when he came in, that was cool.
And he comes back in, takes it over, and then he's like, he does his business on Earth like, I'm never coming back. So, Dev and Ed teaming up to hijack an asteroid.
Yeah, a little, like I said, a little far-fetched, but The whole thing is.
But the thing is, the purpose, behind that, people go, well, who are we supposed to be rooting for here? Are we rooting for them, or are we rooting for NASA? And then you realize that their whole motivation for this is to keep Mars alive, because they know that if the asteroid goes to Earth, they won't have any need to go to Mars anymore. And to me, it's the same thing that kind of our exploration, lunar exploration, Mars exploration, ended when we traded off Apollo for the shuttle system. It's like, well, this is really, we can do everything we need to do in with the shuttle, so we won't go any farther out anymore. And so I think that was kind of a nice comparison to those two things.
And there was echoes of The Expanse, which I know I've talked about multiple times. Part of the underlying story of The Expanse is you have Earth, Mars, and the belt. Yeah. And so Mars were independently fiercely independent is what I'm trying to say. Independently independent. Yeah. And so you had that friction there. And so there was some of that here, which was pretty fascinating too. So
is there going to be another season?
I think the expectation is there'll be a fifth and final season. Probably? Well, I don't know about that. Ronald D. Moore had said he wanted to take it 6 or 7 seasons to get it to modern day.
Yeah. And that's what it was. Yeah. So we're not in modern day. That's what they want, one more season, or however many it takes to get to modern day. And I would think that jump would probably in the next season. Yeah. I don't think they'll go past modern day unless they do something at the last episode that just shows.
Yeah. So Wikipedia says a total of 7 seasons have been planned by the writers. Yeah. So,
oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So 2 more. I mean, no, wait, 3 more.
Yeah, 3 more. I don't think they'll get 3 more, even though it's, to me, it's one of the best shows streaming.
You'd have to either do a lot of flashbacks, or you lose you're going to lose Ed and Danny and all that.
But I think it can survive that.
And that's what's happened. I mean, you've had so many characters in and out. I mean, Molly Brown. I mean, she was such
and the first couple from the first 2 seasons, the ones that heroically wrapped themselves in. Gordo, thank you. Yeah. And I loved them. I thought, oh man, it's not going to be good when they're not on there anymore. But it was fun,
But I will tell you, for my money, the best scene is from season 1 when they rescue the lunar module. And that whole kit, it was just some great stuff.
But I can see why this may not be, like I said, but I think we can all agree there really has not been a season that you went, oh, they just completely.
Oh no, I agree with that.
And as a whole, the series has been solid. It's something that I was reluctant to watch at first because I don't usually like alternative history things. I really didn't like the fact that the Russians were getting to the moon first. Spoiler alert, by the way. But once I got past that, I liked it, and I really liked and we may have talked about this off mic at some point, but they talked about a Major Matt Mason movie at some point, and Tom Hanks was going to be involved in that. But this kind of feels. I mean, you get that futurist. Here's what it would really have looked like if we kept going on with the space program like it was in the '60s and early '70s,
and even the North Korean element. Was kind of cool. Just because they're on the Mars. It's exactly like it is here. Is they isolate themselves? Very secretive. All that kind of stuff.
Considered a different country, basically.
Yeah. But capitalism ruled.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
As the Vulcans say, only Ed could go to North Korea. you know my reference. There's a reference from Star Trek 4, I think it was, where Spock says to it was Star Trek
Kirk,
4, to Kirk, our Vulcans have a saying, only Nixon could go to China.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty deep. Yeah. So, all right. So I recommend Art.
Yeah, absolutely recommend.
I recommend.
Yeah. Would you watch a season 5, Jay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a completer.
You're a completionist.
Bet too.
Yeah. So I guess, is it one of those shows that you waited for and you would watch the night it dropped or within 24 hours of it dropping? The new episode?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, unless there was some conflict for it, that came from it. But we were kind of like, is it the day it comes out yet? Is it time to watch it again?
And you watched it when it was all.
It had already been
months.
I think we started it when there was 1 or 2 episodes left to drop. So it wasn't all downloaded when we started.
And we started. I know we watched the the first season had all aired by the time we started watching it, and that's I think sometimes that helps. If you can kind of binge watch it first, you really get into it, and then after that, we were hooked.
I was a little irritated at Apple because they concurrently ran Monarch and For All Mankind.
Oh yeah,
and so they ended the same week, and I thought it'd been great that if they'd staggered it. And so you'd have a little bit longer, but they didn't want to interfere with Masters of the Air, which I haven't watched yet.
Yeah,
you guys?
Yeah, I've watched every episode of that.
What do you think?
I like it a lot. I mean, it's very well done, very good.
Yeah, well, that may be a future
intense,
episode.
very intense. As those Band of Brothers in Pacific were as well.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time around.